How are you guys? I'm Randy Mosteller, your executive pastor, and I don't get asked to present often, but when I do, when I'm here, I'm usually running around, taking care of things, making sure that things are running smoothly behind the scenes, and I'm a lot more comfortable there than I am here. So lift me up in a little prayer while I'm doing this, and we'll get through this. Okay? So here we go. Like I said, normally I'm up here, and when I am here, I'm talking about something either good or bad that's going on, but something that you need to know. And this is going to be one of those opportunities where I just get to share what's going on. Consider this the community update, okay? Scott and I were talking about everything that's going on right now in church and community, and we said, everyone needs to know this stuff. They need to know who's who. They need to know who's doing what. We need to know what's going on, what are the plans, and how we can get more of you involved with it as well. So I'm excited to share that with you guys because there's a lot going on, and there's even more getting ready to happen. Recently, we've had lots of questions about who our staff are, what's their role, how does the staff operate, and how's church leadership runs. So let's look at that first. The Bible says, let's see what this Bible says about church leadership and staffing, okay? The New Testament presents two positions within the church. They constitute church leadership. That's the elders or the overseers, and the deacons or the church leaders. Depends on which version that you're looking at. Okay, Paul lists the qualifications for both of these positions in 1 Timothy 3, 1 through 10, and it echoes the same qualifications again in Titus 1, 5 through 9. Okay, both positions have the same qualities and characteristics. They need to be above reproach, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, and able to teach with integrity. And they need to have humility and a deep faith. Not a surprise there, right? Doesn't say you have to walk on water. Doesn't have to say you have to be perfect. It just says you have to have those things. Not a surprise. What are the specific duties and things that the elders are supposed to do? Okay? The elders are supposed to do a couple of things specifically. The elders help to settle disputes within the church. They pray for the sick. They watch out for the church with humility. They are to watch out for the spiritual life of the flock. That's you guys. And they're supposed to spend their time in prayer and in teaching the words. Deacons or church leaders are responsible for the day-to-day operations, the physical needs of the congregation. That frees up the elders to be able to concentrate on their spiritual needs. In other words, the staff takes care of the day-to-day operations, and the elders take care of your soul. Does that make sense? That's the way that we're organized here. Community has three elders: Bob Sisson, Phil Winkler, and Scott Swellbar. I'll talk about Scott here in a little bit, but here's Bob, and that's where you'll find Bob most of the time, behind the coffee bar. But watch out, he'll spill coffee on you every now and then, but that's okay, we love him. Bob's been an elder for the past 30 years, okay? I think that's as long as I've been here, probably more. Shelley and I have been here for 26 years, and he was a fixture as we came walking through the door. I think that he was ordained by Moses himself, okay? So, love you, Bob. Phil Winkler has been an elder for nearly 10 years. And when I grow up, I want to be Phil Winkler. That man has more energy than anyone I know and more dedication, and he loves this church more than anyone. Phil is a great guy. So between these two guys, know that they are praying for you, and they're really leading the spiritual direction of this church. They're solid Christ followers. They do so much for the church. If someone is in the hospital, they're there. If they need to pray with people, they're always available. Whenever the staff needs someone to talk to, they're always available. And they're not shy to come to us when they think that we're messing up. They'll come to us and say, hey, you need to think about this. But the thing about them is they don't get involved with the day-to-day operations. They worry about the high-level stuff, and we so appreciate that. we're blessed to have those two guys and Scott as elders. Now I get to talk about Scott. Okay, Scott's been our lead pastor since December of '93. Let me do the math for you. 32 years. Okay. He is the only lead pastor this church has ever known. Community is what it is today because of the vision and the direction that he's had. Scott also serves as an elder along with lead pastor because his primary role is the spiritual direction and the spiritual health of this church. That's why there's that dual responsibility between elder and pastor. He's concerned about each and every one that walks, how their walk is with God, what can be done to help grow individuals in that walk, but how do we grow the kingdom as well? Does a great job. I've been on staff since 2009, going on 16 years. My role of executive pastor has many different functions. Finance, facilities, staff management are some of the big areas that I cover. Scott and I work very closely together. The two of us meet or talk almost daily. And that is what our top leadership is, me and Scott. If there's whatever that means, because our organization chart, if you look at it, is pretty flat because we want everyone's input as we make decisions. Just so you know, Scott and I don't always see eye to eye. I know that comes to a surprise from you guys. We go behind closed doors and we go at it and we come out on the same page after much discussion, after much research, talking to other staff members and talking to many of you as well. We come up with the decisions. I'm not a yes man, never have been. If you know me, you know I don't play that way. But I think that Scott and I make a really great team. When I get together with the staff, because every staff member reports to me, I get into the weeds with them. We talk goals, we talk objectives, we talk volunteers that you have, we talk issues that's going on within every individual ministry, and it just grows from there. But I deal with them on a day-to-day basis to make sure things roll. The only person that does not report to me is Shelley does not report to me. Thank Jesus for that. You know? She's the only person on staff that reports directly to Scott. Now let's talk about that wonderful woman, okay? If you haven't put it together yet, Shelley and I are married. Been married for about 73 years or so. Shelley is our creative arts pastor, and she's been on staff since 2003. She took a short break for about 3 years or so when our kids needed some attention. And then as soon as they got back on their feet, she was right back at it here again. Been on staff for 19 years. She's a key part of what makes this Sunday morning experience what it is. She works very closely with Scott and the overall direction and feel that makes us community. She's on the teaching team with Scott and Joel. Now let's talk about Joel, okay? See, this is fun. I get to talk about everyone. And Joel joined the staff in 2005 as our student pastor at that time. Joel did a great job of building up that student ministry into a thriving area. He was the student pastor until 2017. He developed a passion at that point to expand and go in and really grow discipleship. And that's when we transitioned him out of student ministry and into the role he's in now, which is the Connect pastor, which takes care of adult ministry, small groups, and a big focus on discipleship. I'm going to ask Joel to come up here with me right now. Like I said, Joel became part of the staff in 2005. You know what else happened that same year with Joel? He and Melissa were married. Yeah. Look at those babies. You know? Look at that. I didn't give them. No, I found them. Yeah. So we want to celebrate two big anniversaries today. We want to recognize Joel for his 20 years of service and commitment here at Community. But we, yes, absolutely. But we also want to celebrate Melissa for putting up with Joel for 20 years. As part of their anniversary, they're planning this big trip this summer, and we as a church, to thank them for what they've done, what Joel's done over the last 20 years, we want to give them something to help them have some more fun on that trip. Help them get there, have a good time while they're on their trip, and just celebrate the time together and know that we're thinking about them as well. So
Thank you very
thank
much.
you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
Now, if you would, please find Joel when we're done and congratulate him and Melissa for 20 years together and for his service here at Community. Please send him a quick note at joel@communitychristianchurch.com or give him a card next time you see him or whatever, because he's really doing a great job as our Connect pastor and seeing the discipleship part of what emphasis we have going on right now really taking off. So please thank him for all of that. Last week was Grad Sunday, and it was a great weekend, wasn't it? Having the kids up there, it was so good. Our student ministry is growing and thriving, and it's a big part of that is because of two people, Curtis McCullough and Shelley Alcorn. Shelley's been on staff for 8 years, and Curtis has been on staff for the last 4. The children's pastors, Rachel Butler and Kylie Payne, make a great team together. They do so good. Rachel's been on staff for 8 years, and Kylie's been on for 2 years. Both were part of Community before joining the church, before joining the church staff. The children's ministry is growing. During COVID, we took some big hits. But thankfully now, it's starting to really grow. And we're actually experiencing a bit of a baby boom back in the nursery right now. It's fun seeing 8 to 10 babies back there and knowing that there's more coming. I mean, if you look around, there's some more coming, just, So we're in preparations to get that preschool area, up to where it should be, even better than it is now. So we're excited about that. While we're talking about the kids, there's lots of questions about our daycare, how that's going on over at Trenton. It's hard to believe that the CCC Kids Child Development Center has been up and running for 2 years already. We opened it up with 8 kids, and now we have over 70 kids in there. We have 14 people that's on staff, either salaried positions, full-time or part-time. And that's a big piece of what we wanted to do was provide some employment opportunities on top of raising the kids. The growth is a big part because of these two. Tracy and Stacy do a great job. And we have a great reputation over there of not just being a child drop-off center, but to really, take care of the kids, love the kids, show Jesus to the kids. We have that great reputation over there. So when you see them, thank them for what they're doing. In February, we had a conversation with Hannah Swellbar about what she was doing with back-to-back ministries. We found out that they were making some changes. And a big piece of what Hannah wanted to do, which was the camps and the retreats aspect, which she is so gifted at, was going to be taken off of her plate, off of her responsibilities. So we talked and we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could bring her on to do the things that she's passionate about, that she's gifted to do, and do it for the entire kingdom. Something brand new that I don't know if any other church or ministry has out there that's putting it out there, not just for our church, for other churches, for businesses, for the general public, to do these retreats to help show them God loves them and that part of their lives. So we brought her on board, and we're excited about to see what she's going to do and how that's going to grow the kingdom. But there were some caveats to that. We brought her on board, but we couldn't pay her. So she had to raise her own salary so that she could take care of herself, and she's doing that right now. And if you're interested in helping her with that, find her. There's a QR code on the screen. Do that, and it'd be great to make sure that she's well taken care of because she's doing a great job. Zach Swellbar has been on staff with us for 3 years. He's been serving as our comm pastor, coordinating all the activities over there. He also picked up a number of responsibilities when Rhonda Cupp, our previous church secretary, retired after how many years, Rhonda? 50, 60, 70, something like that? Sorry. But took over some of those responsibilities, especially with the website and building the database up and the app and helping us transition into our new logo and just bringing some fresh ideas. He's been doing a great job for the last 3 years with us. And as you know, now he's one of our worship pastors. Noah is our newest member on staff. He just joined us about 2 months ago. He was part of community before. Him and his family left for a little bit for some family things. Actually moved twice during that time. And now he's back. And he came back at just the right time because he stepped right in when we needed some help here with our worship team. So now he's on board as one of our worship pastors. Now there's been lots of questions about the worship position and how it came about, how we made the selections we did. Let me explain that to you. We did several postings. We put it on Indeed, we did it at Glassdoor, we did a couple different places online and just threw it out there. I put the word out through my network of church executive pastors. Scott put it out on his network of lead pastors. We put it out anywhere we could, and we got 42 applicants from that. Most of them did not mention anything about church, about God, about worship, about leading worship, about being part of a worship team. Nothing, okay? There were a few. There was a former Cincinnati Christian University pastor that was in here, that was there. There was a few other worship pastors whose, when we looked at their videos and listened to the clips that they sent in, their style just wasn't us at all. It wouldn't have fit. So we kept waiting. And we even got some that were like on an analog thing where the resumes just kicked out based on keywords. Had nothing to do with really being seriously applying for us. We even received one from Egypt that wanted to apply, you know. While we were doing this, Zach stepped in and said, whatever I can do to help bridge the gap, I'm volunteering to do that. And he did. He did a great job with that, over and above what his regular job was at that time. It was stressful considering some of the team members before had stepped out, left us very short. We had no drummers, and we lost a number of guitar players and keyboards and stuff like that. A lot of players were stepping out, but we had a core group that he could work with. God stepped in, and that's when Noah showed up. Noah is very talented. He can play drums, he can play guitar, he can sing, so he's a multi-position player if you have it that way. And he too said, I'll help out any way I can to get through this transition. After a few weeks, Zach came to me and said, I've been praying about this and I feel like I'm being led into this position. I said, okay, well, put your resume in, apply on Indeed just like everyone else. And he did. Okay. And after more discussions with Zach and seeing where his heart was, I went to Scott and I said, Scott, Zach's interested in this position. And he said, nope. I don't want my son to experience what it's like to be on stage and to be that person that catches all of the arrows, gets more of the criticism than anything else. Because between the lead pastor and the worship pastor, there's more criticism every week in those two positions than any other thing. And Scott was like, I don't want my son to go through that. So I said, okay. Zach's still leading. He's still developing. Team's pulling around. I'm seeing the way that he and Noah are interacting together. Noah came in and said, I'm interested in this position as well. And I told him again, you go and apply, go through the process, and we watched what he was doing. I watched how he and Zach interacted together, and they made such a great team. Went back and looked at some of the guest worship leaders that we had back when Charlie was leading, was gone for his shoulder surgery, and I evaluated that, had other people evaluate that. Some of them did very well. Some of them were at the same level as what we were getting at the time with Zach and Noah. So I went to Scott again and said, I really think this is it. I think between Zach and Noah, that's our team. You look at their heart, you look at them, their desire to see worship here in this church grow, and having a true commitment to community, not just another gig, not just standing here singing songs, but truly leading worship from the heart. I said, they're our guys. They have a real connection. I spoke with several of you. The response was mixed. They would say, well, he's no Charlie Hines. I'm like, no kidding. I wouldn't want to follow behind Charlie Hines. Charlie was gifted. But you know what? Zach and Noah are gifted too, just differently. And the potential that we have right now with Zach and Noah is huge. It's like having 2 first-round draft picks, you know? The potential there is huge. Is it fully developed here today? No. You got to give it time. Charlie was a worship leader for 30 years. These guys have been doing it for what? A year, maybe, on and off, you know, solidly every week. This is their first time of really doing that. They're going to develop into something very, very special, and their heart is leading the way. You know, we went back and said, are you sure you want to do this because of the things that we talked about? And they said, yes. Went to Scott, said, this is it. Scott has had a lot of concerns because of what I said before, plus he brought up what's the congregation going to think? And to be honest, there's a number of people that have brought that up and say, well, the only reason why he's in that position is nepotism. That's wrong. Flat wrong. Scott didn't hire him, didn't hire Noah. Everyone reports to me. And it's through those discussions, that's why these guys are in the position they are today. So there wasn't a master plan to bring Zach on board, and Charlie left on his own accord. And just so you know, these guys are not getting paid because we're still paying Charlie. We've been paying Charlie since he left because it's the right thing to do, because we want to make sure that in this transition, even though he left us, we're taking care of him and his family. That's why these guys are not getting paid yet, okay? So that's a little insider information. These guys are doing it because they love God and they love this church. Period. It's been a challenging transition. And to be honest, some folks have been very, very vocal and don't like the change. I get it. Change is really hard. But like I said, there's no master plan. There's no nepotism here. There is a plan to do God's will and listening to what he has and how he's going to move us forward. And if people have left, which some have because of this, they left too soon. They're going to regret it, because what we're going to have here in worship is going to be so good, so very special, and take us to that next level. So let's all celebrate Zach and Noah and the entire worship experience of what it's going to be, how it's going to develop. And if you still have questions about it, come talk to me, okay? Come talk to me about it, because I love these guys. Their heart is like no other. Another major change that we're going through is we're evaluating and changing all staff responsibilities. We're looking at some of the incredible growth and development we've seen within the student ministry, and that happened right when Curtis came on board 4 years ago. Before that, we were very much in silos, where Shelley Alcorn was doing middle school, and Noah Henson, if you remember Noah, he was doing high school ministry, and they weren't interacting. We tore those silos down and said, you guys are going to do student ministry together, period, together. So we don't have a middle school pastor or a high school pastor. We have student pastors. Shelley still has an emphasis on middle school and on females, on girls. And Curtis has high school and boys for their focus, okay? And it's worked. As we've seen this going forward, we've seen a growth. When they took over, there might have been 10 kids in there. Now they're pushing 50 kids. And we're looking to have to make some changes going forward with the facilities we have for them. It's working. So we're taking that and going to spread that concept across the board. Children's ministry, we're doing that. You see Kylie and Rachel working together, rotating between each buildings, and it's growing. After COVID, we took a big hit with the kids. Again, they were down to 8 or 10 kids. Easily 40 or 50 kids now on a regular basis in there. We're excited about that. We've got a teaching team in place, as we have for the last several years with Scott, Joel, and Shelley, and that works great. We get a different voice, we get to hear from them, and they're all improving their skills on a weekly basis because of that. Now we have the team of Noah and Zach in worship. Same thing, team concept going forward. As a result of Zach and Noah, we're going to see some things change in the way that things are done in the booth. And with that, it's going to free Shelley up so that she's no longer doing some of the slides and that type of thing back there. And she's going to be working with Joel to make sure to do more adults education piece, small groups, discipleship. And I'm excited to see how God works with Shelley and Joel as they work together and grow. You're going to see a great focus on mission and outreach going forward because Zach and Hannah are going to be working together and some other staff members on the outreach side of things. This whole team concept isn't really new. You know, Jesus did it. And if Jesus did it, it's got to be good, right? In Mark 6 and 7, Jesus then went from village to village teaching the people and called his 12 disciples together and began sending them out 2 by 2, giving them authority to cast out spirits. When we rolled out this across the team at the end of the year, everyone on staff embraced the concept. They thought it was a great, and they were looking forward to doing ministry in a new way, a new different way, and a fresh way. For the first time in a very, very long time, there's a lot of excitement about the direction we're going and how we're going to get there together. The staff has this can-do, let's try new things attitude, which honestly, we didn't have for a long time because of a number of issues, but we do now. And it's exciting to see we're all on the same page. We have a true heart, and this is the home that what we call home is community. And that's where we want to see it grow. As you know, we have a partnership with Matthew 25, and I want to really celebrate this a little bit. It's been a rocky start. We've had some issues with the partnership, but that's getting worked out, and it's getting to be working like it should. We started this at the end of October when we started collecting things, and we've collected 90 pallets full of things since then. And when I got that number from Matthew 25, I said, well, what kind of impact is that really making? And they said, you translate those 90 pallets into providing help for over 80,000 people. 80,000. So I want to thank the team members that have sat out there in the cold, in the snow, in the rain, and all of that. I want to thank all of you for bringing in the clothes, the cleaning supplies, medical supplies, all of that. That's impacted those 80,000 people. So that's all you guys. Okay. We're ramping that up, and we already have probably another 35 pallets that's already gone since this report that I got for them. So we're doing really, really solid work. If you've been around community for any time at all, you know that we run financially very, very tight, and that's not changed. Even though we're a church of over 700 people, our giving level is more like 300. You guys knew if I'm up here that I'm going to talk about money at some time. So here it is, okay? We do more with less than anyone else, okay? And I'm proud of that. The staff does very well with that. We need to have $21,000 a week worth of income in order to meet our budget. Our average is $18,900, okay? We're behind. I totally understand things are tough right now across the board, living paycheck to paycheck. Guess what? Your church is as well. And we're doing everything we can to stretch that dollar. Normally, when I'm up here talking again, I'm talking about money and I'm challenging you. I'm going to challenge you again. What does God say about your giving? Malachi 3 is the one I always go to. You know, bring in your full tithe to the temple treasury so that there's ample provisions in my temple. Test me with this. Test me, he says. and see if I don't open up heaven itself to you and pour out blessings beyond your wildest dream. I'd love to know what the wildest dreams look like, wouldn't you? Jesus said, wherever your treasure is, there's the desires our heart will also be. I get in trouble every time I'm up here because I have this harsh statement that I hang on to. A faith that hasn't reached your wallet probably really hasn't reached your heart. Does that hurt? It's probably true. The last thing you hold on to is the almighty dollar. Okay? Trust God with that, and he will give you what you need. Okay? Challenge him. Try the tithe. Help us get through this time, and you will be blessed, and your church will be blessed. Okay? There's some things coming up that I mentioned around here about the student ministry that we need to do to give them what they need. That's their student ministry space. They are sitting on top of each other. When we did the comm, we thought it would be a long time before they have to outgrow this space. Guess what? They are. Okay? And we need to move some walls in order to give them the potential to keep growing like they need to do. That needs to be our priority. We need to make some changes facilities-wise there. We also listened to what you said in the survey results that we did last fall, and there's comments a lot about facility is good, but it needs to be touched up, it needs to be improved, it needs to be refreshed, and the lobby is too small. We're going to come up with a plan and look at what we can do with the lobby to give us a little more space so that we have more connect space out there. There's going to be more plans going forward from that. I'm just giving you a warning shot now that we're addressing issues that you brought up to us. Okay? So look for that coming in the next few weeks. As I started pulling this whole message together, I was looking at what's going on and why is there this undertow going on in here. I think it's because we're experiencing change. Change can be difficult. Change can be very uncomfortable. And we want our church to be a place that you come and you're totally comfortable with all the time. I really want everyone to know that what we're experiencing today, the pain that we're experiencing today, will lead to a much greater tomorrow. Everything we do, every decision that's made, everything that's done is done after much prayer. Prayers for God's wisdom and direction. This change, these plans that we're going through are all God-driven. I would love to sit back and just be comfortable and just sit on our laurels and say, aren't we doing great? We need to make these changes. For an organization, you're either changing or you're dying. And I'm not willing to die. You know, when I get overwhelmed with this type of thing, there's a verse I hold on to, Jeremiah 29:11 through 13. For I know the plans I have for you, declare the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me, come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek for me and find me when you seek me with all your hearts. And when I'm feeling this anxious or scared about things that I can't handle or that's overwhelming, this is the one I hold on to as well, and that's Joshua 1:9. I have not commanded you. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. I really hold on to those two verses lately because there's been so much going on, so much change, so much of this undercurrent, this storm that we're experiencing as we're going through this change. You know, I'm a strong believer that if you're following God's plans and you're doing what he's supposed to be doing, you're going to come under attack. Satan's going to come after you individually and as a church. And I think that's exactly what's happening right now. You know, I see it in many ways. He's attacking us with our finances. We were turning them around, and now they're starting to go south a little bit again. And I think that's all him. You know, and it brings up again, bring Malachi, bring it in, and he will bless us. He will give us our wildest dreams if we do what we're supposed to do. So I'm asking you to help us go to battle against him, because if we can win that battle with him, there's nothing we can't do. I really want to see what that wild dream would look like for us. Another area that I think we're coming under attack is that Satan's pulling us apart as a church, as individuals, instead of pulling together. This happens all the time whenever people are thinking there's a master plan or there's a conspiracy going on or something like that, and they question church leadership openly, and fall on these verses. God speaks to this, Hebrews 13 and 17, be responsive to your pastoral leaders. Listen to their counsel. They are alert to the conditions of your life and work under strict supervision of God. Everything we do is under prayer. We're just not making this up as we go. Satan loves when a church is divided, when there's infighting. He loves that more than anything. Romans 16 and 17, they say, I urge you, brother and sister, to watch out for those who cause division and put obstacles in your way that are contrary to the teachings of what you have learned. Keep away from them. Satan can take those two things and do such damage. They can rock your very faith. But if we recognize what's going on and we push back and go on a counterattack with that, we can draw closer to God and we can celebrate the victory. It's not hard. We just need to do what God tells us to do. And we can do that. We've done this before. Together, we can band together. We can do great things. We can become even greater for the kingdom. Continue to grow. Continue to do what needs to be done. If we do all of this together, God's in this. God's already won the big war. We just have to win this battle. And it's so possible. It's so positive we can do this. We just need to be on the same page. Let me close with this from Isaiah 43, 18 through 19. But the Lord says, do not cling to the events in the past or dwell on what happened long ago. Watch for new things. Watch for the new things I'm doing. It's happening already. Can you see it now? Can you guys see what's going on right now? There's so much going on here, so much positive, such a great feeling. The Spirit's here. And Satan's doing everything he can to turn that off and to turn us against each other over small things. It's not about us, it's about God. Think about that. Let's go to battle. Let's win. Let's kick Satan right out of here. It's easy to do. Okay? Sorry this sounded like a business meeting, but it's a rallying cry. Let's do this. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for Community Church and what it stands for and the love that you've given us and for bringing us this far. We're excited to see what the next steps are going to look like. We're excited to see what you're going to do with us. We're just going to keep growing. We're going to keep developing. We're going to just take those steps that you would have us step forward with. Father, we love you. We want to rally together. We want to kick Satan right out of this place. And we want to just celebrate you day in and day out. Give us that strength and wisdom to do that. It's in your name we pray. Amen.